So, welcome to all. My name is Yuri Dario, and today I'm here to show you the presentation about the InJoy Firewall for OS2. First, I want to tell you who I am. This is the first time I'm here at Workshop US. I have been many times at the Workshop Europe, but because it's much easier, it's a lot easier for me to go there, because I'm coming from Italy.
Except when you got to sleep on the floor.
For?
Remember our days in Cologne where you got to sleep on the floor?
Yeah.
You really wanted to come to that work
Okay.
stop.
I'm using OS2 since version 2.0 with a beta version, so I think it was 1990 probably, or 91, I don't remember exactly. I'm usually working as a developer, okay, and I'm working as a developer for open source program and also for commercial programs for OS2. For example, I worked with BlueCAD, maybe you remember it. I worked on Opera for OS2. And then I made a lot of things in the open source field, starting with MSQL, MySQL, Apache, with a lot of applications, and then RPM, recently, YOM, and many others. So I'm working as a freelance developer, okay, and also I'm a teacher in the Italian public school. Alright, what is InJoy Firewall? Well, first, it is a multi-platform firewall software. Okay, it is working on OS2, on Windows, and on Linux. And it is an enterprise class software. It's an enterprise class firewall. This means that it is designed to control all of your network, okay? And it is a software-based firewall. Many times you can have a hardware-based firewall. This is a software. This means you need a computer running OS2, for example, and you can install InJoy Firewall on that computer. That means you need at least two interfaces, one going to the internal network and another one going to the external network. Then you can add more and more interfaces if you have more than one internal network or different external networks. Okay. So, as I said, it controls everything in your network. It is supposed to be the gateway of your network. So all of your traffic going outside must go through the InJoy Firewall. It is an enterprise product, but it is also available as a personal and a professional license. That means you can use, with a personal license, you can use it on your computer. I think only on one computer, or maybe two computers. And with a professional license, you can use it with 5 different computers. Okay. It is the software has 10 different security levels because you can use it. It can be very complex to use. So you can start easily at level 0 or 1, and then at level 0 or 1 it makes only basic stuff, and then you can grow your level and go to 5, for example, to 4 or 5, which are the minimum levels for some serious firewall control, and you can go up until level 10. Okay. Levels above 5 requires usually enough skills to use it, because it's quite easy to break rules and to or change things, so you need to know it very well if you go at higher levels. It's quite easy to create a rule and then another one which makes exactly the opposite and you don't realize it. and everything is not working, and you don't know why.
Oh, come
Yes.
on, you got all those wonderful logs.
And
You got all the wonderful log files.
Yes. Every level can be customized. Okay, you can decide, you can change what is done at every level, but this is not a task for all people. Usually it's better to not touch levels configurations, okay? Because again, you can break everything. That's what it is. The current version of InJoy Firewall is doing a lot of stuff. Basically, these are the functions regarding only the firewall control, and here are the more advanced functions. Okay. As a firewall, you can have deep packet inspection, you can have a stateful inspection, you can check for intrusion, so you can see if someone is using your FTP server with wrong passwords and so on. You can have dynamic rules. That means that he can learn what happens. For example, if you have some site for some external customer trying to use your FTP and using the wrong password, he can block the IP address from external network dynamically. It does packet filtering and also some kind of basic virus protection. Basically, virus protection is done inspecting packets and detecting the signatures and then blocking packets on signatures. So this is the firewall part. If you go to the advanced part, you can do some kind of access control. The simpler way to control access is, for example, with a MAC address of your interfaces. But you can also, if you can also authorize people using the username and password or certificates, but the system requires the VPN access. Okay. You can also do traffic shaping. That means you can control the bandwidth for every kind of protocol going inside or outside your server. So you can you have a lot of choices there. Traffic shaping is done only on the protocol. Okay, so you can't, for example, everyone using HTTP has the same percent of your traffic. Also, it does some web filtering, again using the inspection of packets, so you can block URLs, for example. It's not a very sophisticated system, it has been added just to have some basic filtering on the web. If you need some more sophisticated web filtering, you need some products like Squid Guard. So this is not the task for InJoy Firewall. You can have a DHCP server, so you can assign IP addresses in your network. And also you can do some forwarding of DNS if you don't have one inside your network. Then a big part of the software is the IPSEC VPN client and also server part. So you can use InJoy as a client for your VPN connection, or you can use InJoy as a server for external clients, road warriors, and so on. Last, it has a user interface for the control. This user interface can be local or can be remote. That means if you are not at your server, you can connect from a client around the world and control everything of the InJoy Firewall configuration. For example, you have to remember to open the port for the configuration user interface. If you don't do this, you can't use the remote control. It seems strange, but it's a common error. Okay, this is an example of a remote control. Well, local or remote, it's the same. Okay, you have multiple windows where you can check, for example, for the traffic throughput of your line, another kind of speed, input-output traffic, or the activity log. This, the whole configuration system is highly configurable. You can have a lot of different type of monitors for IPSEC, DHCP server. You can monitor rules, access rules, traffic, and so on. So you can get a very big panel with a lot of windows telling you everything about your firewall, and it can be quite complex to understand. You can start to have 20, 25 small windows around, and so you can see everything, but it's not so easy to understand. I planned to show you a live view of a user interface, but I cannot use OS2 with the projector, so I can only show a presentation to you. Okay. Now we are working on InJoy Firewall to enhance it, okay, and to make a lot of things. So we already did a lot of work on the current source code, mainly to clean up the code and refactor all sources. Okay. Then we added custom configuration paths. For example, in the old version of InJoy, the configuration files had an hard-coded location. It was not possible to change the position of configuration files, of logging files. Now it is possible. You can place configuration files everywhere, almost everywhere. Also, we are working on the logging scheme. So we have a new logging library, which is supposed also to be used for other projects. So we can have only one central position for logs, while actually on OS2, every program is doing logging on his own way, and you have log everywhere.
Yes.
Even in InJoy, you have logs everywhere. One
And
after another.
the idea is to use the new logging library of InJoy also for other projects related to OS2 development. Also because this logging is based on an open source library, so it's not so difficult to use it for everywhere, for every other kind. Another big work we are doing is enhancing the OpenSwan compatibility. Well, actually, InJoy IPSEC support is limited to older OpenSwan configurations, and so it is not able to connect to modern IPSEC endpoints. Now we are fully supporting OpenSwan 2.6, okay. So we can connect almost to every kind of modern endpoint. This supporting OpenSwan is not very simple. We had to do a lot of work, and we have not all features completely working, but we did most of them. Okay. So, and also another thing on which we are working is support for Windows 10, because on Windows 10 the driver system has changed again. Yes.
Right.
We did a lot of changes from XP to Vista and Windows 7, Windows 8, but on Windows 10 we did another step in the drivers, and so we need a new kind of support. We are working on that. This is a work in progress, which is almost done. So I expect to have a new version released soon,
That last thing you mean is when you're running on Windows 10?
Sorry?
The last line, Windows 10, that's when you're running InJoy on Windows?
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
all right.
Windows 10 support is for Windows version of InJoy.
Right, okay.
We cannot support Windows 10
Oh,
on
no,
OS
it's
2.
two? Lewis is going to, but you're.
Well, we have a lot of stuff, Windows stuff in OS 2.
Yeah.
We have JMac, Odin.
Right.
Okay, but
Not-
drivers, no, it's another thing. And it is not our job to work on this kind of stuff. Okay. Was another thing that it was planned to show you the connection to a Linux IPSEC implementation, but it is not possible. But you can trust me, we have a working support for shared key connection, which is the entry level for a VPN connection. We support RSA signatures or X509 certificates. So these three options are already fully working. There is also a basic X authentication scheme working. Okay, so clients can actually authenticate with XAUTH on the InJoy server part. Okay, and with XAUTH, some features are still not working. For example, giving an IP address to the client, but these are minor stuffs. We just need to implement all kind of tags inside the configuration. We plan also to enhance the product, okay, and give new features. For example, the first most important task is to rewrite the user interface using Qt libraries, okay, because the current interface is done with
Dynamic Windows?
dynamic windows, yeah, exactly. And which works on OS2, works on Windows, but not on Linux. And also dynamic windows is not a modern user interface library. So since we have Qt working on OS2, we plan to use Qt to rewrite completely the user interface. Qt is multi-platform, so then we can compile the user interface on every supported platform. We need to do more code refactoring and more code cleanup because we found a lot of problems in source code. The same files in different places, okay, or multiple definition of the same thing in different source code files. So we need to go and check even better this kind of problem. Okay. Also, we want to write a new widget for OS2, like the one available on Windows. If you on Windows, we have a small widget on the status bar where you can see the interface working, the traffic. You can have a small monitor of what happens, and we don't have this on OS2. But since now we have Qt support, we have X-Center Qt support, so it will more easy to write now. Because a few years ago we had to write everything ourselves. Now we can use Qt X-Center Qt widget, X-Stray widget, I don't remember the name.
X-Stray? X-Stray.
X-Stray, exactly. So we can use these stuffs to write a simple widget also for OS2.
Yuri, let me ask you a question about the Qt libraries.
Yeah.
Qt5 or Qt 4 points?
Okay, we have Qt 4.7 now,
Mhm.
and but we will have a Qt 5 working not soon, but as soon as possible.
And that's what you're gonna use, that's what you're gonna use for this? You're gonna use
Qt5.
Qt5 for this?
I think it doesn't make a real difference
Okay,
because we don't need complex Windows systems.
Okay.
So the bigger task is to write a new interface. Then Qt4, Qt5 is not a problem.
okay.
But I think that we will have a Qt5 by the time we will rewrite the interface.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. And now, and if you have some other question,
You said this is designed for two interfaces.
Yes.
Like, if you have just a laptop on the internet, like in this hotel, is this of any use? Does it help you protect yourself from anything?
oh yes, you can use it for your personal computer. So
Okay.
all the traffic going through your interface is
Uh-huh.
going through the firewall.
Okay.
You need to, two interfaces because usually in a network environment, you have an internal network going to one
Yeah, right.
interface,
Uh-huh.
and then the other one going to the internet connection.
I understand
and you
why.
need to keep InJoy in the middle.
I see. Okay.
This is the only way to check all traffic.
And if you didn't configure it right, your laptop may not talk to the internet anymore? or-
Yes. If you have an include and an exclude, and
That's the most
never
secure
the twain
laptop.
shall meet
Yeah.
The one that is not
Very
connected to
secure.
anything. Yeah.
It's not, it's quite easy to use.
So, if it's, when this thing is running, if it's on a PC, how much CPU time is it using for these tasks? Because it looks like it does a lot.
No,
No.
the CPU usage is very low.
light.
It is-
Form-
At least for
Really?
for usual internet connections. I don't know if you have a gigabit connection to the internet. Maybe the CPU usage could be higher, but on a 100 megabits connection, the speed is not a problem.
I used
The
to use
CPU
it, I
usage
think,
is
on
not-
ISDN 15 or 20 years ago. I had my ISDN. I just plugged in my computer. I think
You had problems with ISDN?
I used it.
Ah.
InJoy?
Yeah.
No, you use some other product named InJoy, not this one. He was using the InJoy.
ISDN dial-up.
Dial-up, yes.
InJoy dial-up.
Everybody did, yeah, did great.
Oh, yes, I forgot, we have also some
Yeah, they're totally different
plugins
product,
to
though. Actually,
handle
different company than we chose.
PPTP connection, PPOE connections, but usually these days, these kind of plugins are no longer used. So they are only there to support all the connections.
And unfortunately, most Americans don't have a connection fast enough. And unfortunately, most Americans don't have a connection fast enough anyway to challenge this
Oh,
software.
really?
Yes. There you go.
In Italy, I don't have this kind of problem. The connection, the speed is even lower. So,
It doesn't.
but usually, if you run the firewall, I have seen a few customers, the CPU usage was very low.
Yeah,
always.
it's actually, considering what it does, it's amazingly light. The implementation is pretty good because Dan and I run InJoy instances on SCOA, which is running 3 or 4 other instances of Apache plus DNS and all that sort of stuff, and it's just fine. And we're talking, dual core Xeons.
You're talking about?
InJoy performance.
No.
Oh, he was running it on a dual-core Xeon,
Dual
Ah,
core.
cool.
but it was running a whole bunch of other programs simultaneously, and nothing. Yes.
It's fine.
Impact is very low.
Yes.
Yeah, our only complaint was the traffic.
Maybe if
Fix
you
that.
have, if you start to have hundreds of rules, maybe the impact could be higher. Because every packet must go every rule before going out.
We got hundreds
But
of
usually
scammers.
you don't have so many rules. So
Yeah.
with 10 or 20 rules, you have everything.
Yeah, but still, the systems have high-speed interfaces, you've got 100 megabits of data, which means all the attackers are trying to get at us. So we get a lot of traffic, really. Not that much real traffic, but plenty of traffic for InJoy to contend with. Like our typical blacklist dynamic rules are about 40 or 50, and they wear out, you know, the usual stuff.
Another question, at home I have a router that my DSL connects to.
Yes.
But there's no way to do like a DNS server internally in my network in my apartment. So each machine, I just have to use the IP address. Like, can you use that DNS functionality in this? Like the router itself doesn't have it. It's
No.
funny they don't, you know.
No, InJoy doesn't work
Some
as
do.
DNS server.
It won't. Okay.
You need, for example, a bind installation.
Uh-huh. It'll only
somewhere.
forward DNS requests.
Yes, exactly.
That's okay.
If you install bind on one machine, you
Uh-huh.
can tell your computers to use that PC as DNS server.
And then
you
that'll-
configure bind to forward requests to an external
Uh-huh.
DNS server.
Uh-huh. And it could also internally assign, you know, like when you bring a machine up, it would be nice if the host name of that machine were registered somewhere
Right.
and the other machines could look it up.
Sure. Well, basically.
You would
what
think
you're
the
asking-
router would do that, but-
David, what you're asking for is bind.
Yeah.
Right, but
Maybe if you install also Samba, for example, you can have this kind of support.
right, right.
Because Samba, when it's configured as a domain controller,
It can serve that function.
must know the IP address of every client, the
Uh-huh.
name of every client. So maybe you can use Samba for this.
Yeah, okay.
Just one little question. You were talking about a logging library that you're bringing. What is the name of the library?
It's Log4c.
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 Yeah, sorry.
Different from
Yeah,
DNS.
yeah, I know DNS.
And it's also
So you work for
different. And
Bitwise?
really what he's asking for is
Yes.
DNS.
How big is
working
this
for them.
company? How many people work for
Basically,
it?
the client says-
Can you talk about that for a moment?
Associates it with that IP.
I'm a freelance
It really makes it
working for
the IP
people.
route.
Bitwise, yeah. And how big is Bitwise? How many people work for it?
By address. And
Maybe you don't know.
4, 5,
Oh.
6. I don't know exactly. Depends.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's what the
we have
small
many
systems
projects.
do. And the big ones,
so
too. I actually know
on
this
every
corporate
project there
outfit
is
that
someone
uses
working.
static IPs for
Uh-huh.
over about
So,
1,000
yeah, okay.
clients.
I don't know everything. Bitwise is not my company, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
I tried to get Silver
Years ago, I
presented
ran
that.
InJoy.
You got it wrong.
How do you license, still license the same way by the number of internal machines connected to it?
Yes.
Because I had 10-user license.
Yes, exactly. The license, I think that personal and professional license have probably 5 or 10 users. Okay. If you have an enterprise license, you can have a lot more users connected.
That way I don't even have to kick that.
But it is only a license issue, so it's not the limit of the program. Because you can tell it to have 100 customers, 200 clients. So
But you still have the.
And then on the
internal CPU side
VPN as a
work.
server, what kind of
I'd rather
connection do the
just
clients
got
need
Paul
at the remote
What's
location?
nice about it,
Paul, he's doing now.
In other words,
everything,
if I
but
put down a
it is
Windows
based on OpenSwan.
Yeah.
So if you have an
He's not going
IPSEC
to do any demo.
connection,
Just
it
a
should
demo.
work.
Okay.
Okay.
So the same
Then,
thing slides there and
It should work
And
because
head on the-
IPSEC is very
on the
different
TV.
from vendor to vendor. So it is not very compatible between every implementation. For example, you know that
Just a slide.
Cisco is doing it differently, and it has some strange configuration tags that are breaking the connection if you don't know. And usually when on IPSEC you miss something, it just does not connect. You don't know why. So it's very terrible to understand where is the problem.
Can you connect to the Cisco? Like we had a Cisco VPN, and that's when I stopped being able to use it. Is that
No,
that why?
You know, not for me.
Okay. No, but it doesn't. Can you connect to a Cisco server, VPN server?
I know in the code there are many things about Cisco.
Uh-huh.
There are many options about Cisco.
Uh-huh.
I didn't use them.
Okay, okay.
Usually I'm checking the software against another OpenSwan configuration.
Uh-huh.
Because if you miss something, it just doesn't connect.
Right.
It
As
says
it should.
no connection, but it doesn't say you why.
Uh-huh.
This is not working. And you know the reason only if you can look at server logs.
Yeah.
But if you are the client, you just get an authenticated error and stop.
It'll be very hard to see those logs.
I think, is Paul ready? I think
Yeah.
I think we're ready for the next session.
Thank you.
Some other
Thank you.
question?
Part of being a politician.
Questions? No?
Grazie.
Okay.
Grazie.
Okay. Thank you.